This is Tech Vibe Radio, your front row seat to Pittsburgh's technology and innovation economy. Tech Vibe is brought to you by Compunetics at compunetics.com, Chorus Call at choruscall.com, Highmark at highmark.com, Huntington Bank at huntington.com, Kindling at thekindlingagency.com, PNC Bank at pnc.com, and Savior at savior.com. Tech Vibe proudly broadcasts from the Huntington Bank studios. Good morning, everybody. I am so happy you're joining me here on Tech Vibe Radio. And I'm Jonathan Kirsten with the Pittsburgh Technology Council. I get the honor and privilege of literally hanging out with some of the coolest people that are in Pittsburgh's tech ecosystem. And today I am really fired up because we have a company, I can't begin to describe it. I'm going to let them do it. But all I'm saying is we're in for a real treat today. We have a company here called Perforated AI. And I want to know what the name means. And I also want to know why they have such a cool logo that's like the shape of a piece of the pie. We'll get into that in a minute. But we have Dr. Rory Brenner and Ralph Crewe from Perforated AI hanging out with me today. And you guys are, from what I can tell, taking AI into some directions that have not happened yet. And I can honestly say over the past few months, I've been getting like exhausted with AI. But when I saw when you guys were in Forbes magazine, hello, like millions of views, talking about your technology using more of this idea of dendrites as ways of going through AI. I was like, oh, I can't wait to talk about this. So we're doing that today. I'm so glad to have you guys here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
With that, let's start with introductions so our listeners know who's who and what is what. And so, Rory, let's start with you, man. I mean, you're the brains behind this, and you're, no pun intended. And your story is amazing. We'll jump into that in a minute, but tell me your background and obviously what's up with Perforated AI.
Yeah, so I did Carnegie Mellon for undergrad. That's how I first ended up out in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Obviously, great comp sci school. I took this computer vision class expecting them to teach me about how like Star Wars robot vision works. And they basically just told me that stuff's not real. Here's how Photoshop works and kicks me out the door. One, I was like, that's crazy. Like insects have perfectly functioning visual systems. How is the best AI in the world in 2009 just this useless? So yeah, I ended up doing a neuroscience PhD to try to answer that question, and Perforated AI is my baby from what I learned there.
We're going to jump more into detail about what that means, but the idea that you're at Carnegie Mellon, you're not convinced. And then you take a whole other course of action to convince, pretty cool. And you brought Ralph Crewe with you as well, too. Ralph, you are no stranger to the Tech Council. It's great to see you hanging out with Perforated AI.
I'm so excited to be involved with Rory. I've known Rory for several years. He's honestly one of the smartest people I've ever met. And when he told me about Perforated AI and sort of the inspiration for it and how it works and the results he's been getting, I was so excited to jump on board and be part of it. I'm on the team doing communications work, so here we are. I'm very happy to tell the story. Help him tell the story. But I just think it's awesome stuff. I've been a big fan of the Pittsburgh Tech Council for years. I'm very excited to be on the show, and I just thought it would be really cool to come down and let you know what we're up to over at Perforated.
Like literally, you reached out to me, and I saw what was going on, especially with the Forbes article, and I was like, "Can you guys come in on next Tuesday?" I'll move some things around. I had to tell the story because seriously, I think what you guys are into is just really blowing my mind here. So let's just start off with just so our listeners can understand, Rory, what you're doing here with Perforated, how it's so different. And this is changing thinking that's 80 years old, 70 years old, when AI was first kind of being thought of and how this would work.
So a lot of people think that AI, it's built on this algorithm called an artificial neural network.
Right.
And lots of people think that this is a modern innovation because ChatGPT is what really brought AI into so many people's lives.
Exactly.
But yeah, the original artificial neuron was invented in 1943. Based on 1943 neuroscience, and it's just never been updated. And what we're doing is bringing these new understanding of how much more complex the individual biological neuron is and bringing those ideas into AI. And just like the results we're getting is just because of how much more advanced this new form of the neuron is.
So the original concept is like kind of like an off-on switch almost, right? Like it's like a click, where now you're looking at like many different nerve endings flowing into.
Yeah, you could definitely think of it that way.
Okay.
Like the click, to get a little technical, is like the idea of a non-linearity, where like you add a bunch of stuff together, and then there's one click if enough stuff has been added.
Gotcha.
And what we now know in biological systems is that there's one final click, but there's a ton of additional clicks happening within the dendritic tree. And what we're doing is bringing all those extra clicks before you get to the main click.
So what does that mean when bringing all those extra clicks? I'm thinking there's more efficiency, a smaller footprint, less energy, like all the above, none of the above, like you're an idiot, Jonathan.
Yeah, so the metaphor I often use to answer that question is AI is an intelligent decision-making system. And right now we're kind of building these AI models with neurons that have the equivalent intelligence of a toddler. And if you put together 100 million toddlers and give them all a very simple assignment, you get ChatGPT. But also, if you bring together maybe 100,000 high-level technical engineers, you can also get ChatGPT. And it's like at the end of the day, you're powering them with sandwiches, and you can power 100,000 adults for way fewer sandwiches than 100 million toddlers.
Now you're talking my way. You're talking sandwiches here. I can understand that.
That's right. We're all about sandwich efficiency.
Yeah, that's the new thing for perforated AI. And so tell me about the name Perforated AI. What does that mean? I'm thinking lots of holes.
Yeah, the holes is the metaphor.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so the way you train an AI model is you pass your data in at the beginning of the model, and it like flows through the model to the end, just like a pipe will flow.
Gotcha.
And then at the end, an error gets calculated, and that error then flows backwards through the network. And the metaphor that we kind of have is like a perforated pipe in an irrigation system.
Gotcha.
Whereas the flow is happening through the neurons, the data and error also flows out to the dendrites.
Right.
But just like a perforated pipe, it never flows back. And that's why the name of the algorithm is perforated backpropagation, as the name of the company is Perforated AI.
Very cool. And now I got to get to my question I've been dying to know.
Sure.
In the lieu of sandwiches, we were talking about, you got this great pie-shaped logo. I want the t-shirt, man. It's cool. So what's up with that?
Yeah, so kind of just shorthand, Perforated AI, PAI. And then we liked the little catchphrase maybe 2 years ago talking about easier, smaller, cheaper models, easy as pie.
Very, very cool. And so we got a couple minutes before break. Before we do that, though, I just want to learn more about the company. So you got Ralph here doing communications work for you. Who else is on your team?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just got our COO, Aaron, who has been amazing so far.
Very cool. And right now you're like in a beta phase, so you're actually looking to partner with people to actually apply your technology onto their systems to see what kind of an impact it can make.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have all these amazing academic settings, and we're just now starting to get our first industry pilots going. And yeah, definitely want to talk to as many industry people as we can who are working with machine learning and PyTorch.
And who's been doing that now? I mean, honestly, I just feel like it's cutting across so many industries. And so the ability by testing out your technology, you could actually maybe see like people can gain some serious efficiencies of getting more answers more quickly using less energy. Tell me more about what that would mean.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the things that a lot of AI companies are doing is they have very specific verticals where we only work with people in healthcare. We only work with people in finance. But yeah, this is like a fundamental update to the world of AI.
Exactly.
Everybody is doing neural networks. And so we actually have had to like specifically pick our beachhead niche that we're going for. But at the end of the day, anyone who's doing machine learning is someone we want to be talking to eventually.
That is freaking amazing. I don't know. It has me so excited because I'm thinking this is happening in Pittsburgh, right? That's just so cool. I'm so glad you came to Pittsburgh.
Straight from here.
But you can't go anywhere now. You realize that. So we're going to go on a quick break real fast because time goes by quick. When we come back, we're going to have our signature question at the end of the show, which, of course, Rory's going to be answering, which I'm very excited about. Ralph's going to be hanging out with us. If you don't know, go to perforatedai.com and check it out. You can learn more there. It's your site's great. You got the piece of pie right there. You got my attention immediately. No, but you can kind of dig in, and there's a lot of great information going on there. After you do that, you have to go to pghtech.org, right, and check out how the Tech Council can help your tech company succeed. Do that, and then come back, and we're going to be talking more to Perforated AI. This is Jonathan Kirsting with the Pittsburgh Technology Council. I'll be right back. Hang in there. We got more great stuff coming right your way. So happy. The Pittsburgh Technology Council has been helping our region's tech companies succeed since 1983. The Pittsburgh Technology Council helps its members meet new customers, hire top talent, make headlines, and have a strong voice in government. From startup to multinational, the PTC helps tech companies and advanced manufacturers of all sizes. See how we can help your venture grow at pghtech.org. That's pghtech.org. A strong work culture is the invisible force that binds employees to each other, to the company, and to their work. It's linked to better business outcomes, happier employees, and increased retention. How we work and where we work continue to evolve in almost every way, yet our human need for connection and purpose remains. Help your employees connect and thrive by evolving your culture to support your team, regardless of how or where they work. So discover how the Kindling Culture Agency can transform your company's culture at sparkssomethingbig.com. That's the Kindling Culture Agency at sparkssomethingbig.com.
Compunetics is the leading developer of unified voice, video, and data collaboration and conferencing applications for the service provider, government, and unique workflow applications. The Summit Olympus and Evergreen platforms, driven by their encrypted user interfaces, enable powerful and secure collaboration. Combined with world-class support and innovative professional services, Compunetics delivers the right solution every time. Learn more at compunetics.com.
This is Tech Vibe Radio, your front row seat to Pittsburgh's technology and innovation economy. Tech Vibe is brought to you by Compunetics at compunetics.com, Chorus Call at choruscall.com, Highmark at highmark.com, Huntington Bank at huntington.com, Kindling at thekindlingagency.com, PNC Bank at pnc.com, and Savior at savior.com. Tech Vibe proudly broadcasts from the Huntington Bank studios. So happy you're spending your Sunday morning hanging out with me, Jonathan Kirsting, at the Pittsburgh Technology Council. Absolutely love bringing you this show each and every Sunday because I'm hanging out with the coolest people in Pittsburgh, no doubt. And today I'm hanging out with Rory Brenner and Ralph Crewe of Perforated AI. And I dare you, I triple dog dare you to go to perforatedai.com and check out what these guys are up to, because this is like democratizing AI.
Totally.
I was, during break, I was warning Rory, you better be careful. There could be people like, I don't know, people in black suits knocking on our door, like, you could be disrupting things. But I get so excited because this is happening in Pittsburgh. It makes me so proud because there's so many great things that happen in Pittsburgh and we just don't get to know about them. And it's my job to talk about them whenever I can. So last segment, we had mentioned that you guys were in Forbes magazine. First, as a communications guy, Ralph, you were like, see, Rory, I told you. Wall Street Journal next.
We'd be in Forbes at some point. Getting there as early as we have has been very exciting, to say the least.
You sent me the article and I read it and I was like, this is such a cool article. And it really explains ways that regular folks can understand how you do and what you do it. So
yeah, totally. It was something that I was surprised at how quickly it happened, but I'm not surprised that it did happen. I do think we have a really remarkable story. The technology that Rory's developed here could be and this is, people use this phrase all the time, but I think it's a paradigm shifting technology. I think he's fundamentally changing the way that neural networks, that deep learning is being done. And this is something that with the quality of results that we're seeing already, I think it'd be ridiculous not to use it. And I think in just a matter of time, we'll start seeing adoption across large chunks of the industry, if not the whole thing. Really.
Oh, yeah. No, I can imagine. So how did you guys link up with the Forbes? I mean, obviously, you had like a convention or a conference?
Yeah,
okay.
We were at a conference in Las Vegas in August, which is an insane time to be in Las Vegas because it was 111 degrees outside for real.
Actually, I only go there in January for CES, and it's 80, and it's
which is still kind of ridiculous. But we actually saw Andrew Yang gave a talk while we were there, which was really cool. We got to meet him, which was super fun. And there was a reporter there.
Did you give him a t-shirt?
We've known that. We'll call him back and get him that t-shirt,
man.
Andrew, if you're listening, just send me a text.
Oh, he calls me all the time.
Yeah, sure.
I'll let him know. Yeah.
But there was a reporter there, and we struck a conversation with him and told him our story, and he seemed interested right away, and we exchanged emails, and Rory told our story, and before here we are in Forbes magazine. I'm sending copies to my mom and stuff.
Exactly.
It's pretty cool.
Oh, so, we're really proud of the Tech Council. We're like, oh man,
we're really excited.
They're doing good work. Let's talk about some of the impact of what you've been seeing so far. There's some pretty amazing numbers. I mean, I think you recently had a hackathon at CMU where you let some of the smartest people in the world play with the technology and see where they can make it happen. And you mentioned some startling numbers around cloud computing and things like that. Tell me, Rory.
Yeah.
What's up?
So yeah, we had a bunch of Carnegie Mellon master's students in computational biology. We had some data engineers from Deloitte. And then,
Okay.
the winner was the CTO of this consulting company, Skim AI.
Mhm.
And he was working with a language model. It wasn't like an LLM doing Gen AI, but it's a natural language processing
Sure.
where text comes in and decisions come out as opposed to new text. But yeah, he works with these all the time with regular clients. And he was able to take a model that he works with constantly and shrink it to be so much smaller and more efficient that when deployed to Google Cloud, it reduced the cost of processing text and data by a factor of 38x.
So you said 38. When I first saw it, I thought 38%, which I thought was pretty impressive. And you said no, 38x, and you're like, yeah, a lot.
2%.
2%. Like
cost.
That's why I warned you then about the people in black suits knocking on your door,
Yeah.
right?
Quite sure.
It did happen. But when you're seeing that, oh my God, like that's a really good proof of concept. But you need to keep trying to break your technology, right? You need to keep applying it to places, see where you can really just
Definitely.
who can work with you guys? Like anybody. Wait, tell me, like who's a perfect candidate to be hanging out with you to be testing perforated?
Yeah, so the only restriction is you do have to be building your own models.
Okay.
So there's a lot of people right now in the AI space who are working with foundation models. Like
Gotcha.
they're building a wrapper around ChatGPT or they're throwing ChatGPT in their data.
Exactly.
But they're not actually building their own models.
Okay.
And eventually, we'd love to have OpenAI be our customer, and then all of these folks get the benefits too.
Well, Zico Coulter's on the board of OpenAI, right?
I did not know that.
We'll talk
Yeah,
about
do you
the
guys have
show.
some connections with
Yeah,
that?
he was on the show a few weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Aren't you guys
excellent.
glad you hang out with me for
Yeah.
crying out loud? Okay, keep going. So imagine them using this.
Yeah,
Well, that
exactly.
would be world
And
changing.
some numbers from, this is about a year old. at
Would
this
actually
point.
retire at that point.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we only need one contractor with OpenAI.
Exactly.
But yes, the numbers from last year was that OpenAI used to cost 35 cents every single query. Like you type something in and it costs OpenAI 35 cents to answer that question. And we could cut that down to 1 cent. I'm sure they've already done some optimizations, but like they're not doing it this way.
How do you get in front of them to see this? Because how could they ignore this?
So one of the big things is that we need some smaller validation first.
Gotcha. Because they're going to see more validation first, right?
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, that
it
makes
costs
sense.
them like $10 million. I've seen some reports that they might be planning on building models that cost billions to train. And no one's going to be spending $1 billion with where we currently are.
Right.
So we're trying to get some validation with kind of like more medium-sized, small-sized companies
100%.
who normally are working with kind of smaller data sets, smaller models, where it would be very low risk to find out and incredibly high reward if the systems are compatible.
And what if we could find some Pittsburgh places that are building their own and they
That would be
could
perfect.
wrap? That's what we want. We're making a call right now. Yeah.
Definitely.
Reach out to me if anyone knows anything. jkirsting, pghtech.org. Find me on LinkedIn and I will connect you guys, because at the Tech Council, we'd love to see you guys working with a couple local companies, being able to show how your technology can bring their AI costs down, like tremendously.
Definitely.
I mean,
And we know
it's-
there's a lot of people in Pittsburgh who are definitely the folks building these AI models.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Right.
No, I mean, Pittsburgh is AI, right? I mean, well, apparently we have signs on Penn Avenue that tell me that, but that's a whole other story.
we're going to be down that road.
Like this to me, like my brain is actually spinning because I'm just thinking about the potential of this.
Yeah.
And like, I just want to see you guys succeed so badly. I want to see you be able to connect with these companies and keep proving your models. You can get to OpenAI and be like, yeah, that's right. Pittsburgh does that.
Absolutely. And I think there are lots of tech companies here in Pittsburgh that we'd be happy to work with. We mentioned cost savings, but another thing that I want to really highlight is that we also shrink models overall, right? So one of the things that's exciting is that allows edge technology to come into play. If you want your model to run on a device as opposed to with AWS or something like that,
Right.
then I think we're an excellent fit there. And I
Interesting.
know there
Okay.
are some tech companies who are doing edge computing AI solutions here in Pittsburgh that I'd love to.
No, there definitely are.
Yeah.
We'll brainstorm on that because we gotta find them and make this happen, because this is like some really good stuff. I feel like I'm breaking news here a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm having a fun time. Okay, we got about a minute and a half left, and I promised our listeners our signature Tech Vibe question of the day, Rory.
Sure.
Simple as that. Now I'm going back to my list of questions. We kind of talked because I want to give you the best question possible. And I think our big shift question is appropriate for you. And you got a minute to answer this. We're running out of time. From your vantage point today, what is the single biggest change you see coming that leaders are not ready for?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think it's this. I think of the current framework of AI research is let's throw more money at the problem, let's throw more data at the problem, let's throw more GPUs at the problem.
Right.
And it's just been so long since someone really took a step back and was, hey, should we just totally shift the paradigm? And what we're doing really opens up this whole new avenue of research that is, I use the term blue ocean from the startup world. It's a blue
100%.
ocean of research that we are now enabling. And we want to talk to people who want to be the first ones to dive in.
Let's do it. Simple as that. Can't thank you guys enough for stopping by. I tell you what, man, so cool. Perforatedai.com. Rory, Ralph, you guys are the best.
Thanks,
like I
man.
said,
Thanks for
I
having
got to
us.
talk to you guys after the show. I have an idea for you, so let's do that. Just got to thank my listeners for tuning in. Love you tuning in and hanging out with us. I look forward to hanging out with you next Sunday. And if you want to hang out before that, just go wherever you get your podcast. Look for Tech Vibe. We literally have thousands of interviews with companies just like Perforated AI. They're just changing the face of Pittsburgh. Check it out. And go to pghtech.org and find out how the Tech Council can help your tech company succeed. See you guys next week.
Compunetics is the leading developer of unified voice, video, and data collaboration and conferencing applications for the service provider, government, and unique workflow applications. The Summit Olympus and Evergreen platforms, driven by their encrypted user interfaces, enable powerful and secure collaboration. Combined with world-class support and innovative professional services, Compunetics delivers the right solution every time. Learn more at compunetics.com.
Thanks for geeking out with us on Tech Vibe Radio. Tune in next Sunday for more tech and innovation stories right here from Pittsburgh. Get Tech Vibe wherever you get your podcasts and never miss a show. Tech Vibe is brought to you by Compunetics at compunetics.com, Chorus Call at choruscall.com, Highmark at highmark.com, Huntington Bank at huntington.com, Kindling Agency at thekindlingagency.com, PNC Bank at pnc.com, and Savior at savior.com. And we're always coming at you right from the Huntington Bank studio.